officer with the Royal Netherlands Air Force.
Very short takeoff and landing role, which of course it needed to operate on the fields in France, making it the ideal aero. Not even the 308.
They do crazy stuff.
Requires fairly genteel handling.
And Mars Gemini, followed by Rob Millenship in the Mars Falcon, and Christine's in the Mars Magister.
It's Caroline Grace.
Caroline Grace.
Now they're representing 10 years of the company history. Lead aircraft with the first 50 Gemini.
Sarah Mint. The Jersey ones. I've got those out to take.
To what are fitted to the aircraft you see here. At greater or lower weights with a higher passenger and baggage load. Would you believe won the Kingston Air Race? Pilots on the new monoplane aircraft were then entering service with the Royal Air Force, aircraft like the Hind Spitfire. The 1,229 Magisters were delivered to the Royal Air Force between 1937 and 1941. 3 left that is still flying. Like the Mars Falcon, power.
I think the 2-seater Spitfire that Lynn and I saw sold at Hendon. I think that flies. I've had a lot of them.
about a Falcon, it's really arrogant for very different indeed. Which will take us back to 1942 over the Western Desert.
Yes. Yes, that was good. Covering the body. Yes. I think that went over Hamilton as well. That big plane was called yes. I bet that's not British. Yes, it's go back to asparagus later.
Really dusty, it's dry, it's hot, everything that isn't right here, right now. Anywhere, in fact, give it a patch of grass and it'll go. And what it's for, aside from VIP transport, Irvin Rommel used to use one. The Western Desert was at the bad end of the supply line, and so they didn't really start getting large numbers of bomb fighters and bombers until a long time. I'm sure of him, I think. Oh, very low and very fast. For later fighters such as the P-40 and the Hurricane that arrived in very large numbers in the Western Desert from the end of 41 onwards. Altogether, 737 armed with 4 303 machine guns. Now, you see what's happened. He only winged him. He only nicked his fuel line. The pilot's been able to land in that very short landing. Shut his engine down, repair his fuel line, get air. What I'm trying to do is make a formation fly past, which means the Storch is going to have to be nose down going full power, and the Gladiator is going to have to be nose up with the power all the way back, burbling on the edge of the stool. So this could get quite interesting. Sorry? They are going to try it because it makes such an unusual photograph for all you guys with the cameras down there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from the left, Chris Hookstep in the Gladiator, John Munn in the Storch. Instructional airframes.
That's what they had in the army.
Brought by November 1960. She's given to me ever since. Interesting that in its home country of Czechoslovakia you can't fire about it in this type anymore. The Czechs here have regarded the aircraft as obsolete. Owner and pilot Peter Saw is the vice president of the Vintage Glider Club, as well as being a British Club of Board, I think, for Peter Saw there. That was superb effort. Doing of at least one Anson pilot. He was only rescued by the judicious use of scissors by the co-pilot. Was something of a disappointment in terms of performance for the Royal Air Force, and the Provost really made up for that. This is an amazingly, what you want is a little bit of character. It's the only way you can describe it really. You want a little bit of sneakiness in an aeroplane that will bite you every now and then, and this aeroplane itself just been sheer joy to fly. Started out of this aeroplane is cut the nose off, cut the engine off, stick a jet in the back and a big weight in the front, and bump your uncle.
Now bringing up just after the side mob is Venison. Rex now thinks that we have an aircraft in front of you all the way through the routine. Rex, Claire and Keith have got the disadvantage today of open cockpits, which with a slight rain shower does tend to sort of hamper your vision some. Both having closed cockpits. Now you'll see the first of the ground crews running out as Keith comes round the corner for his first pass of the flower bombing. Now Keith has asked me to point out that he's trained as a fighter pilot, not a bomber. And Rex now comes in. Now Rex is more familiar as a glider bug. Yes, and again that's later more challenging when scoring this later on. Now Keith now comes into his second pass, releases it, it's looking much better. To try and hit the commentary position, but I hope that I'm safe enough over here, because you have to fly through the crowd to get to it, so hopefully I'm okay. Out of 3. Yes, he can. And some birds, which hopefully she'll miss. Just underneath that balloon. It's not looking so good for Keith. He's having trouble there. Can he get... Oh, no, probably best not. It wasn't looking good for him. Now, if he can get 3 for 3 on this will well and truly put him in the lead for the Barnstorming Championships, and that's a nice run from him there. See you, so give them a big wave. Tighten up the formation to come round again. You'll be able to see the different styles of the aircraft in between them all. All of them were built to do the same sort of the wings for you there. If you'd like to join the SAS, please visit the stand, which is up the top of the air. The SAS has managed to donate over £1 million over the last 10 years to help keep the aircraft flying here as volunteers before being made into full-time engineers. While holding a metal pole with some dirty laundry to hang out across it.
Of the aircraft between 1938 and 1940 and kept using them right the way up until 1956. First flew again on the 17th of August 1981. Demon.
thin metal tube of varying section, getting thinner out towards the tip with a metal plate between them. So if you look through the end of it, the spar technique was used in Hawker designs right the way through to the 1950s. So very much three men working together. Roy Chaplin, Fred Sigrid and Sidney Camp produced these aircraft. The Aeon Primary, a primary training glider. As you can see, Chris giving us a big wave. Ladies and gentlemen, he really is just in a wooden seat with a wing on it. There's very little in the way of anything around it. An amazing machine, this. Developed from a German, our Shuttleworth Collection Sea Hurricane, followed by Peter Teichmann's Hangar 11 P40M are going to get airborne underneath him. Many an Air Training Corps cadet took their very first flight in this aeroplane, and that must have been absolutely terrifying. Or near cliffs or other lift-producing devices where they could stay airborne a lot longer. But as you can see, even in such a basic aeroplane, Chris is really managing to stretch the glide here. This is a superb bit of flying. Hopefully, I think when he lands from this, he's going to be quite close to you, ladies and gentlemen. And when he steps out of this, I think a very large round of applause for Mr. Hind. Because that is quite astounding. P40M Kitty Hawk. To take the shock of catapult launch and carrier landing. Boys were extremely vulnerable to German aircraft, hence the development of the Sea Hurricane. The convoy, and that aircraft would be directing every U-boat for hundreds of miles onto the convoy. Simply shoot down the German aircraft that was shadowing the convoy. These. Of modern monocoque construction. But in fact, built using the Hurricane to be outclassed, it was still in service as a frontline fighter. Right the way up to the end of the... And they were the first one. Of them built, but very few surviving today. Americans call them. Of protecting the convoys. This and various other companies around the US. But it was, like the Hurricane, it was incredibly tough. And acquired in 1970 by a well-known P40 expert by the name of Tommy Camp. still the aeroplane. It's named his aircraft Lulu Belle. In the China-Burma-India campaign, there were basically fighters tasked with protecting the transport route that enabled us to keep supplying Chinese forces and forces fighting the Japanese in China. In this particular aeroplane. Is on the China-Burma-India transport route. It's something else, it really is.
And it was. I think I said you this. Did he bounce? Yeah.
It's dropping and the sun has come out. And suddenly, isn't this a lovely time to be standing on an airfield? This were worn out in 1916 to be precise. We're going to be seeing 2 aircraft. Were given 200 series numbers, so 8 squadron became 208 squadron. High climb rate. Now, what do you want in a fighter? You want a fast turn rate and a fast climb rate. So how do you get a large wing area? And just getting airborne now, the beautiful Sopwith pub. To fly. I mean, some of the aces, even when later aeroplanes like the SE-5A and the Sopwith Camel came in, they kept their pubs because they liked flying them so much. Now attached to those, angled up at about 30 degrees, were kite balloons on a line that they'd winch up with an observer in, and he would report the fall of shot of the artillery and things like that. Shoot down 7 balloons. Flying amongst other aircraft, that's Hanoi LHD-1. So anyway, back to our pub. And this has 2 effects. First of all, it slowly soaks into the fabric. Oh, and he caught it beautifully. Bit of crosswind there, bit of a gust. and light bomber design. It's originally intended to be one of those aircraft that...
And 78 Squadron got their hands on this new aeroplane. And one day they just said, well, jigger this, we're not going to sit here and be targets anymore. And they swapped.
But it became one of the most effective fighting machines on the Western Front. The pilot had the standard armour of a single. Considering it first entered service in 1960. It's much, but the Bristol fighter is a much bigger aeroplane than many of the fighters of the day. Yet it was because of that tremendous horsepower from that Rolls-Royce engine that made it as manoeuvrable. Biplane, very standard World War I fighter design. But one remarkable thing about it, not many people realise, that one of the engineers working at the Royal, again synchronised to fire through the propeller, but if you look above the top wing, you'll see a thing called a Foster mount. And on that is a drum-fed Lewis 303 machine gun. Five of them. And it was very quickly changed from the style cruiser to... Just a quick announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Bradbury, if you can hear me, could you come to the base of the tower, please? You'll be taking a passenger flight at the end of the show, so Mrs. Bradbury, can you come to the base of the tower, please? Thank you. And Agile. Entering service about the same time as the Scottish Camel, Scottish Camel with a very large Bentley GR2 rotor engine. And it very much the same standard that the SE5As would range long distance to Harrogate lines over the front. So parting, interdiction and interception missions. Whereas the more pugnacious, the more scrappy and dog-fighted camels would stay somewhere near the front, pretty much splitting up the workload in that way.
Our sponsors are Bath. I'm Philip Massetti, and we're delighted to be performing as part of the military pageant here at Old Warden. Wonderful takeoff from Mark there, smoke's looking good. As Mark pulls up into the vertical, ladies and gentlemen, is probably a little bit different from some of the more...
Mark started his display now. What he's going to be showing you most of the time is something called gyroscopics. And this is essentially, or very crudely, where the tail will be wagging the dog. Mark is going to be using the power of the propeller and the spinning blade at the front to tumble the aeroplane through the skies and defy gravity and physics. And there we go, that's a lovely little manoeuvre there. Can he recover? I don't know. Oh, thank goodness he did. Hang on its propeller quite nicely. Look at that. Absolutely superb. That was a torque roll on the way up there, by the way. Those of you that haven't seen Mark fly before, he's one of the world's best display pilots. The European World Championships a few years ago, and was ranked 9th in the world back in 2009. Lovely little snap roll there on the vertical. He's just hanging there. What will he do? Will it be a tail slide? No. Storm turn.
You may know this, but Mark, something to surprise that loved one in your life. Mark's got over 3,500 hours now under his belt, most of which has been spent upside down. And he's now spending his time probably displaying in over 20 countries, China being, oh, that's a lovely manoeuvre there. Just holds that aeroplane up there, and now he's allowing the aeroplane to be driven by the prop. The gyroscopics are taking over there. Quite a deft bit of handling. Got a feeling that his display is over, ladies and gentlemen, so please give Mark Sherman a round of appreciation, give him a wave and stuff. Absolutely fantastic.
That's what you said about earlier, wasn't it?
Absolutely astounding. More modern technology,
To my city, let's put the hat the other way.
These two look like fun, but they just are unbelievable, aren't they?
that Blackburn Cirrus.
They do look like fun. They look fun,
Keeping the Gemini airborne.
and literally tucked it all in without putting it on, took that 40 minute long. On good linen.
It's linen, that was the problem.
No, it wouldn't, Claire. It wouldn't. I know it wouldn't.
And it's so much.
Now look just how far that undercarriage compresses when the wheels touch the ground.
Second, yes.
Unbelievable.
Whereas on my line, so I never used to put it hot. I clipped on the bottom of that linen.
Of course, one of the famous uses of this aircraft was Hannah Welsh, who one of the German generals into Berlin and actually landed on the Untitled Linden main street that runs through the middle of Berlin, past the Reichstag, and right next to where Hitler's command bunker was.
Yeah, I thought, right, I won't say about money.
Bye-bye.
Where else in the world can you sit and watch a Miles Gemini doing touch and go? A gentleman walking back across the airfield.